The 2014 Improved Production Nationals are proudly brought to you by Newlon, Yokohama and Vantage Automotive.
Just no mistakes, good car preparation and just drive it on the limit for every lap.
Go through the heats, get a good grid position for the final, then just give it to it. Don't need the engine anymore, run it till it's dry. Like if we come away from here in the top 10, I'd be happy with that.
To win, I can only imagine. I've come second twice, but never won. I would just love to win, but that ain't ever going to happen now, but I don't care. It's just fantastic.
But yeah, I'd love to win it. You know, our first would be phenomenal. We know that we're not going to win it, but if that was to come off, that'd be the pinnacle of my racing.
You work towards this, you have your highs on the day, you have your lows on the day, but you've got to be there at the end, and it's just, I can tell you it's euphoria when you win. There's no question about that.
Hi everybody and welcome to Wakefield Park for this, the 2014 Improved Production Under 2 Litre Championship, proudly presented by Newlon, Yokohama and Advantage Automotive. For the first time ever this weekend, we have an Under 2 Litre Championship completely separate from the outright guys. It's a strong field and there's plenty of guys that are right up there as contenders. From New South Wales, we have Bob Jowett, Dave Crichton, who have been battling hard all year. Justin McClintock looks like he's in fine form. We've also got a few South Australians up, like Wade Reynolds and the like, and everybody from around the states. The only state not represented, Northern Territory, this weekend. So it's going to be a battle at the front, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top once we get through that top 10 shootout, the heat stages, and into that final to sort out our champion. Before we go into any of that racing action though, let's head down to the garage where Jeff Hansen, one of the grid fillers, is going to take us through how you go about winning a national championship.
Thank you, Daniel. Earlier on we discussed a method of determining who may take out the 2014 IPRA Nationals. This time we're going to use a mathematical method. Now we've gone around the pits, we've used plenty of data, plenty of hard fact. We've talked to the flaggies, we've talked to pit crew, we've talked to family, and we've tabulated quite an amount of hard data and statistics. And what we've done is we've put them into the motorsport algorithm, which is a very complex formula. But what it does is it allows us to take all of this data and plot it on an easy to read graph. So on our vertical axis, we have LMDS, which is last minute dollars spent. And you'll find at any nationals, this figure is quite high. You have to spend all your money the day or the week before to ensure success. Now, this also will show your grid position in the early laps. So you'll find that last minute dollars spent, when it's fairly high, will ensure that in the opening laps, you will have a fantastic position. You'll be out front. As the laps progress, however, the curve starts to fall. And you'll find that some of the other competitors that haven't spent quite as much money, LMDS, can start to fall into the race and have a real chance. However, as the curve moves along and as the laps increase, around about 2/3 or thereabouts, depending on safety car and so on, you'll find all the competitors will enter the twilight zone or the Bermuda Triangle of the race. Now in this area, you'll find strange things happen and no one can predict what happens in this area. Perhaps your leader will be gone. Perhaps one of the mid-pack guys moves forward and others, second, third, fourth, could hold station or could go backwards. So in this area, the twilight zone or Bermuda Triangle, once everyone enters it, it becomes a little bit of a lottery. So out the other side, there's a lot of fragmentation. Number 1 could be gone, number 5 could be gone, number 26 could be gone, or number 5, 6, 7, grid fillers perhaps, all come out the other side in different positions. So much as we can put data and we can analyse it and we can predict to a point exactly what's going to happen, once we enter the 2/3 part of the final, all bets are off. The twilight zone takes over and the result is anyone's guess. Back to you, Daniel. Okay, welcome to the Improved Production Top 10 Shootout. This is the top 10 cars for the under 2 litres, and we've got Shane Statchwell all the way from Queensland. First car out on the track. Let's see how he goes. Coming up through the top of the track here, little left hand, up to the very top. This is really hard work through here, picking up a front wheel there, absolutely working the car to the absolute maximum. Let's see what sort of time it was. Wow, that's a really fast time, a 106 1.2. Let's go down to Daniel in pit lane.
Shane Satchwell, first car out. Shane, it's hot conditions out there. You're the first car out on the grid. Out for the top 10. You went half a second quite faster than your best time in qualifying. The car must feel pretty good.
It did actually, straight up, so it was good.
Well, hopefully it all goes well for you. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
There you go, Shane Satchwell in the Datsun 1200 Coupe, a Queenslander here this weekend.
Second car out on the track for the top 10 shootout for the unders. It's Ben Algie, local guy, New South Wales, and a great little Toyota Sprinter. Look at that, nice and smooth down into the last corner. This is all about beating the clock. Oh, that looks good, nice and clean. He's done a lot of laps around here, Ben. Should be a fast time. Let's see what the time is for Ben Algie. Oh, 7.2, there you go. Look, not quite as fast as the first car, Shane. Let's go down to Daniel in the pits.
Ben Algie, second car out in the top 10. Ben, a 107.22. Second on the grid so far. Just a conservative lap?
Yeah, it was. A bit nervous. But no, I could have done better, but a couple of little mistakes, but all good.
There you go, Ben Algie, first New South Wales driver out in the top 10. He's done us proud. Second on the grid so far, 8 more cars to come. We'll see what happens with the rest of them.
Dave Walden, all the way from Queensland, and that's an RX3, but it's an under 2 litre car. This has got a 12A engine in it, which has been machined down so it competes in the under 2 litre class. But they rev like the normal rotary does. High revving engine. Let's see what sort of time he does. And that's a 107.20. That's pretty good from Dave. Let's go down to Daniel and hear from Dave.
David Walden, the third car out in the shootout. David, third car in the shootout to take to the track. Hot conditions out there. How'd you find it?
Oh, it's good. Didn't mind at all. Did a good lap. I thought it was pretty good, nice and tidy. Didn't come off the track, didn't set fire to the grass, which is a plus.
There you go, Dave Walden. He's come out third in the second Queenslander out here this weekend. The Mazda coming on strong as the weekend continues. So make sure to keep an eye out for it.
All right, the next car up, local guy, Ashley Burks in a Gemini. This car has been around a long time, but don't get fooled, folks. This is a fast little Gemini. But that's not a bad time from Ashley Burks. That's a 106.7, so he's the second guy to get into the 106s in the top 10. Let's go down to Daniel.
Ashley Burks in the Holden Gemini, fourth car out. Done a 106.7. Ashley, hot conditions making it a bit more difficult?
Yeah, it was a bit hot out there, and you never know how much grip you got till you get out there and have a crack, so that's all we did.
There you go, good luck. Ashley Burke there in the Holden Gemini, looking for a good result, did well in the top 10, a 106.77. Well, we're almost at the halfway point of the under 2 litre top 10 shootout. Graham Cox, the next car out, will have his lap and plenty more after the break on Blendline TV.
Okay, the next car is Graham Cox, another guy from New South Wales. This is a Honda Integra, front wheel drive. This guy is fast. He'll be one to watch. Right out to the edge of the track again, onto the back straight. This is a fast lap by Graham. Like I say, done a lot of laps around here. A 106.8, oh, not quite so fast. Let's go down to Daniel.
Graham Cox, fifth car out. It's currently fifth in the top 10. Graham, hot conditions, a bit of a slower time, a 106.8.
106.8, yeah, not as good as I was expecting, but that'll have to do for this for the next round anyway, the next race.
There you go, Graham Cox, fifth out in the top 10 shootout, a little bit slower than he'd like to be with a 106.8. Always entertaining. Watch out for him to be on or off the track for the rest of the weekend.
Bob Jowett from New South Wales, state champion 2 years in a row. This guy's one to watch. He's going to be fast. Down into the fish hook. Got to be smooth here, got to be precise, got to be right on the money here.
can't afford to make a mistake. Down a gear, down another gear, nice and smooth. Let's see how he comes onto the straight. Beautiful, using all the track, nice and smooth. He's a smart operator, Bob. He will go fast. I think this is going to be a fast lap. Let's have a look at the time. A 1:05.8. That puts him at the top of the board. Let's go down to Daniel.
Bob Jowett, 6th car out, a 1:05.81 second lap time. That is astoundingly fast. You've blown everyone on pit lane away. You must be happy.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's as fast as I could do on the day. And yeah, it'll put it in a reasonable place, I think.
There you go, Bob Jowett. He is one to definitely watch out for. Our defending champion in under 2 litres. Got the number 1 on the door and he wants to keep it there. He's out for victory.
Okay, Bob's pretty happy with that, obviously, but here's Justin McClintock. Another New South Wales car, another sprinter, same as we saw a little bit early on with Ben Albie. This is a similar package, very fast car. These cars were popular in their day. I think he came 2nd or 3rd in the championship over the last couple of years campaigning this car. But if he gets close to Bob, it'll make things interesting because we've only got 2 cars left after this. Let's see what sort of time it is. Wow, a 1:05.55. That is the fastest lap. I don't think anyone's ever going to beat that. That is an absolute fast lap. Let's go down to Daniel.
Justin McClintock, the fastest man so far. Justin, a 1:05.5. That's absolutely astounding.
Oh, mate, I'm stoked. That was a cracker lap. The guys got the car set up right. It just hooked up, and yeah, that was awesome. So, got a couple more guys to go yet, but very, very happy with that time. That's the quickest we've ever been.
Justin McClintock, fastest car so far this weekend. He was going to reverse it into the garage now, a 1:05.5. Watch out for Justin.
Okay, Dave Crichton, he's the next car up. Now he did a 1:05.7 in qualifying, so let's see what sort of times Graham can do. He's obviously got a lot of work to do. Justin just did a 1:05.5. Coming into the last corner now. He has got to beat Justin McClintock, who has just set a 1:05.5. Let's see what sort of time Dave Crichton's going to do here. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be close. Not quite close enough. A 1:06.1. So Justin McClintock is still at the top of the leaderboard in the top 10 shootout for the under 2 litres.
Dave Crichton, 7th car out, currently 4th fastest. Overshoots me a little bit there. Dave, 4th fastest so far, a 1:06.14. I guess the hot conditions not making things easy.
Yeah, and just doing it on a single flyer. I'm quite happy with that lap. That's pretty good for one off.
Dave Crichton there, watch out for him. He's very fast in this Royal Purple Green machine. He's going to be looking for another victory this weekend. 2014 champion for New South Wales. Watch out.
Okay, Daniel Burton from the ACT and another Honda Civic. Now, Daniel actually went faster than what Justin has just set, a 1:05.5 in the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see whether Daniel can repeat that in this top 10 shootout. He's locked it again. Looks like a rear wheel locking up there. I reckon this is going to cost him, and he's not going to do the time that he did in the qualifying session, which was a 1:05.3. Let's see what the clock stops at. No, it's a 1:06 dead. He'll be disappointed, but obviously he's got a little bit of a brake issue there, and it's cost him. Let's go down to Daniel.
Daniel Burton, another character from the Capital Territory, coming up here from the ACT. 1:06.05, currently 4th fastest. I guess the heat getting to the car a bit.
Yeah, he's getting a bit to the car. I mean, it was being pretty conservative out there, but car felt good, you know. Bring on the race, I say. It's probably about that one.
Daniel Burton there, currently 4th fastest on the grid for this one, the top 10 shootout of the under 2 litres.
Andrew Tenley, another car from the ACT, another Honda Civic. He was the fastest, obviously, in the qualifying sessions earlier today. So he's going to have to go absolutely flat out. He also went faster, and that's a 1:05.5. Look at that front and back wheel off the ground, working really hard. Got the suspension working to the max here. How close is it going to be? This is it. Is he going to beat Justin McClintock? No. 0.12 of a second slower. So Justin McClintock takes out the top 10 in a 1:05.5, Tendley second, and Bob Jowett third, down to Daniel.
Andrew Tenley making a return to improved production racing for the Nationals. Coming back at the Nationals, second on the grid at 1:05.6, just 0.1 of a second off McClintock.
Very close, made a few mistakes, but can't complain, they could have been worse.
Andrew Tenley there, second place on the grid for this one, in the under 2 litres, starting the heat round, so watch out for him. He's the first one back, first time back in 2 years. It's going to be great to see this little Honda up the front going hard, very similar to Bob Jowett's car, so we'll see what happens. That's it for an absolutely enthralling top 10 shootout from the under 2 litres. Justin McClintock taking pole position with a 1:05.5. We'll be back after the break with more action on Blendline TV.
It's a long weekend. We've out on the circuit 6 times over the weekend before we get to the finals. So to get the car to the finals and then to finish the finals is it's a challenge. It's almost a mini endurance event in real terms.
Mate, that'd be a dream to come into the top 10 here at the 2014 IPRA Nationals. I actually had planned this weekend if I could get to the top 15, I'd be really, really happy. Top 10 would be over the moon, but just got to get through the next 2 races and see how we go from there. But yeah, I'd be super stoked to get into the top 10.
Welcome back to Blendline TV, taking a look at the race 1 highlights now. McClintock and Tenley on the front row for this one. And it was interesting as they headed down into turn 1, Satchel deciding to take a grass line, trying out a new circuit variation.
Yeah, Justin McClintock just closed the door a little bit on him, but apart from that, it looked like a pretty clean start by the whole field. This is the first of 6 heats for the under 2 litres. It's going to be really interesting to see how things pan out for tomorrow afternoon for the final.
Yep, it's all about working towards that final, isn't it, as the guys continued battling here. A lot of guys just really sussing each other out in this race. The moves were on, as you can see here, the Harrises looking at each other, a little bit of standoffishness as Ryan Jagger started to build up behind them and make a run on them into turn 1. He was doing really well, Jagger, in the brand new car after a few issues, including the guys finishing building it at the track.
Yeah, that's right. Steve, his father, did all the work here. Fantastic job to get that car, that little green Barina, out. And as we see, that's William Harris in the Suzuki having a real go up the inside.
Yeah, and then they had the little escort party going on as well. You had Hyde, Price and Wildridge in this one. And then you had Thompson and King battling as well in the Mirages. Those 2 guys going at it incredibly hard between the 2 of them.
Yeah, they're teammates from the DTMF racing team.
It was great to see them out there pushing hard. And then another one pushing hard was Ben Alge. He was having a look all over the back of Bohm in the closing stages, trying to make any move he could to get up behind Phillips, who had leapfrogged both of them. He'd had a great race so far, and I tell you what, these guys were not leaving anything on the table. They'd really got into it in this heat.
Yeah, that car in front of these 2 is Simon Phillips from Victoria. Fairly unique car. That's an under 2 litre turbocharged car, but no taking it away from the leader. Andrew Tenley from the ACT in the little Honda Civic did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he started off his competition as well as you possibly could ask for, taking home the first race victory quite comfortably there from McClintock. You can see it was an easy win in the end.
Yeah, coming home in second spot was Justin McClintock, and Dave Crichton in third, Walden fourth, Statchwell in 5th.
Heat 2 for the weekend, Jowett and Burton on the front row for this one, and they were going to be absolutely assaulted down into turn 1. The full field trying to force their way through, it seemed.
Yeah, that's Ashley Burks in a Gemini, Graham Cox slotting into 4th, Jeff Fair, and that's Simon O'Dell in an RX-7. That's right, an RX-7 running in under 2 litre because it's got a detuned and remachined rotary engine under the bonnet.
It was interesting to see such great variety in the under 2 litre category, being awarded their own championship run event alongside the overs for the first time here at Wakefield Park, and it was great to see it really well supported.
Yeah, it was great. And as we see Harmston there in the Justin Mahone Honda Civic, Hanson there, a lot of pressure. That's Wade Reynolds from the Sprinter, all the way from South Australia.
Yeah, Jeff Fear had a huge moment then in the middle of the race, straight off at turn 2, just outbraked himself, got back on, and it didn't seem like the car had any major problem, though he found himself a lot further down the field now, having to battle with Pete Harmston.
Great to have Newline Oil on board here for the weekend. There are others major sponsors here this weekend at Wakefield Park, and it really is great. Ooh, Jeff Fair just getting it all wrong again. This car's only, I think it's only its second race meeting, and he's obviously trying to sort out a few bugs there.
He's doing a bit of this man on screen, Graham Cox, usually pushing quite hard. It was a bit disappointing to see. You just saw at the back of the shot, Burke's out of the race in the Gemini. It had some mechanical issues, I think gearbox failure, causing him to fall out of contention. That would really interrupt his campaign.
But there's no doubt who was the pace setter in this race. Daniel Burton taking out the win in Heat 2 from Bob Jowett, Graham Cox, then Chris Evans, Simon O'Dell and Jeff Fair out in 6th.
Heat 3 for the weekend, this one on Sunday morning, and we had McClintock and Jowett on the front row of the grid. Those guys both, of course, having a great run earlier on in the weekend, and then storming up behind them was Satchel and also Walden in the RX3. That another interesting car to have here in the under 2 litres.
Yeah, another one from Queensland where it's a rotary powered, normally seen in the over 2 litres. But what happened is there was a safety car because we had a car stuck on the infield and it was in a dangerous spot, and they had to bring out the safety car, which caused a little bit of chaos, as you'll see in the back of the pack, because everyone started bunching up and all of a sudden there was lock brakes and all sorts of things going on at the back of the pack.
Yeah, Hansen went into the back of Burks, and then Phil Larmore hit Hansen, so a bit of a Constantina effect. When we got back to green flag running, it was McClintock and Walden who were all over the back of Jowett, and the watching brief going to Satchel as the guys made their way up the hill. Jowett was looking for his first race victory of the weekend, the defending under 2 litre champion, wanting to start to stamp his authority on this event.
Yeah, Bob Jowett won this event last year up in Queensland Raceway at Morgan Park, and he's out to take the title again for a second year in a row, but I think he's got a lot of work to do yet because there's some fast cars out here this weekend at Wakefield Park.
Yeah, Justin McClintock was not letting the opportunity pass him by side with Jowett through the final corner. It was a great display from these two drivers as they ran side by side through the whole first half of the circuit. Eventually McClintock got in front and he would not be headed again, pushing out a comfortable lead on the guys behind. And then you can just see here as we came down to the final corner for the last time, Jeff Fear tried his move to the inside, lost it under braking. Walden tried to sidestep him in the RX3 and ended up giving Fear the position. So a great race there.
Yeah, Walden taking out 4th. Graham Bowen in the little Honda Civic taking out 5th. Rounding up the 6th was Wade Reynolds from all the way from South Australia.
Well, it's fantastic, but it's probably similar to a State of Origin football final because you're playing you're racing against all the other states in the country, and I think we've got every state represented here this weekend. Maybe not Northern Territory, but it's similar to that. So it's you want to beat them, they want to beat you, and it is the grand final of the year. It's a wonderful event.
For myself, I think it's quite a good thing. It's actually my first nationals this year. I've worked pretty hard on the car for the last 6 months. It's basically gone through a full rebuild. So we're still trying to get rid of some problems with the car, but so far so strong. Took out the first race for myself today in Group C and D, so yeah, all good so far.
Heat 4 for the weekend now. Tenley and Burton on the front row for this one. It was going to be interesting to see how these two went against each other. One win apiece already this weekend, and they were the 2 form men.
That's right. Cox tucked into 3rd spot. Dave Crichton back and 4th. There's the RX7 of Simon O'Dell doing really well, being pushed hard by Ben Algie from New South Wales.
The battles were on in the early stages in this one. Burton managed to get the lead. Tenley was not happy with that, and he drew level down the straight. They ran side by side through turns 1 and 2. Burton trying to cover things off before Tenley made it stick, and Cox tried to follow through as well. Just look at this, the top 4 all over each other in the early stages. It's impressive racing no matter where you are in the country to watch.
Yeah, these top 4 cars you see on screen now, they are going to be at the front of the pack come the final later on this afternoon.
Then there was a battle continuing further down the field as well. Phillips, Harmston, Algie, and just behind them as well was Odell. So the guys there, look at this, just all of them diving for the apex. Phillips probably the notable one. He was making his way through the field after some earlier mechanical issues.
Yeah, Simon Phillips from Victoria, Datsun 1200 with a turbocharged engine, so that's like a little 1150cc as we see Pete Harmston all sideways and crossed up, turning to go up the hill. Simon Odell taking full advantage.
Yeah, Cox and Crichton were also in a great battle for third place in the race. Tenley had taken the lead in this one and would not be headed again, but Crichton and Cox just would not let this go. Cox eventually just losing out a bit through turn 2. That handed Crichton the comfortable third place at the end.
Yeah, but take nothing away from the leader. This is Andrew Tenley. He's doing a great job here and taking out a well-deserved win with Daniel Burton in the Competition Friction's Honda Civic second. Dave Crichton held on for third, Cox fourth, Phillips fifth, and Chris Evans rounding out the top 6.
Welcome back to Blendline TV for the 5th heat highlights now. This is where the crunch time really hit. Jowett and Tenley on the front row of the grid for this one. And look at that field as Swan and a few of the others hop there at the back coming through. Everybody now just getting the final points before we enter the final race.
Yeah, this is the last race for this group of cars, and they've got to have a car ready to race. As we see Andrew Tenley absolutely totally sideways, he's pushing to the limit. He wants to win all his heats.
He nearly threw it away there in the pursuit of the championship, but he would not let it go. These guys were having a great battle as well. Reynolds locking up the Harrises together across the top. It's so interesting to see the strengths and weaknesses of a different variety of cars all up against each other, all racing on the same circuit.
And here's Andrew Tenley just getting up the inside of Bob Jowett there, coming onto the straight and taking the lead there. Look at that, Bob Jowett working very hard, but wasn't going to take much more.
No, Bob was probably caught a little bit unawares with that move as Hansen and Hyde continued their battle that we'd seen earlier on in the weekend as well. These guys just kept finding themselves on track together, and Hansen was not able to get past Hyde. He to pursue him all the way home.
Oh, here we go. This is Michael Hops in the little Toyota Starlet having a big lose in the fishhook.
Yeah, wasn't sure quite what caused that one. It seemed a strange place to have a little bit of a lose, but he rejoined comfortably. You can see him there behind Bob Jowett, and he got into a little bit of engagement with the other drivers here. Coming up the straight, gives a friendly wave to Dave Crichton. Dave Crichton gives another little wave back. A lot of camaraderie in this sport.
Yeah, that's right. Just making sure he's got plenty of room to pass him, but take nothing away from the eventual leader here. That's Ralph Swan just moving over and letting Andrew Tenley take the checkered flag for the 5th heat here at Wakefield Park. Bob Jowett just lost a little bit there from then Crichton, Phillips, Fair and Algie.
Heat 6 of the weekend now, the final chance for these guys to score any points towards that last race of the weekend, the one where the trophy's going to be handed out. It was good to see Ryan Jagger back out there as well in the Barina. The guys had fixed that up after those issues in Heat 3, and the battles at the front though, they were on from the start.
Yeah, Graham Cox got a good clean start there, but that was Daniel Burton just up the inside of Justin McClintock, trying to hold the line. Justin McClintock tucking in behind. Great battle between these top 3 cars.
Another great battle going on throughout the field was Pete Harmston and Graham Bohm. These two going at it all race. And I tell you what, Bohm was looking the stronger of the two. He had a look down the inside here towards the fishhook, but was not able to do much about it with all the car speed he had.
Yeah, great to see. Here's another battle. This is, what's that? Wildridge and Mark Lamore in the little Mirage having a battle. Battles all over the field here this weekend. Great to see. We're going to have a great final later on this afternoon.
I think the story of improved production racing is the variety and the variety you get in the battles. This is a Mitsubishi Mirage versus a Ford Escort. 2 different eras on the track, 2 different really ways of going about racing, yet they find themselves together, and it was a great battle to watch.
Chris Evans from Queensland here in the Datsun 1200. A little bit wide there. That's Dave Walden in the rotary-powered RX3. Another car that you would normally see in the overs is running in the unders in a detuned, remachined rotary engine under the bonnet. But take nothing away from Daniel Burton here. He did a fantastic job keeping Justin McClintock back in second spot, then Graham Cox.
Yeah, Daniel Burton coming across the line for another victory as Justin McClintock took second place. Third place was Graham Cox.
Dave Warden rounding out fourth, Chris Evans fifth, and Simon O'Dell in the RX-7 was sixth.
We'll be back after the break on Blendline TV.
Kelvin was a very active member in the Victorian IPRA and in fact well known around the whole country. It's very well regarded because he brought the Improved Production Club of Victoria virtually from the doldrums to a very healthy club. 6 years ago, when he was 40, he was diagnosed with cancer. He continued to be a very strong member within the committee and was still very interested in motorsport, and that's why we're running a tribute to him today. He touched a lot of people, not just in motorsport, but also in private life. He's very sadly missed, apart from in industry, but of course to our family. He's got 3 brothers and sisters. I'm his eldest brother, and his mum, our mum, is still alive, and we do miss him dearly. So his memory living on within motorsport is I'm very pleased about it and proud of him for what he did.
Kelvin Twist very much at the forefront of everybody's thoughts going into this final race of the weekend. You might notice there on the grid, Dave Crichton missing from this one. He was forced back to pit lane with some mechanical issues before the race could get underway. So that's left Andrew Tenley, Daniel Burton, Justin McClintock and Bob Jowett on the front 2 rows of the grid. The revs are rising for this final race of the weekend, and we're away for the final race of the weekend, the Improved Production Under 2 Litre National Championships. It all ends here in the run down to turn 2, and it is Burton who's snatched the lead in the early stages. Tenley hasn't managed to get away at all well, and then just look at this field making its way through.
Running wide there is Simon O'Dell Fontana on the RX-7. Lost a lot of spots there, but apart from that, looks like a pretty clean start, Daniel.
Yeah, Jagger's making his way through. He's just split the Larmore brothers there on the way up the hill, so we've got to watch out for that little green Barina. There it is in the backer shot coming through, and just look at this. These guys now, they're going to be slowed up by that pace over the top of the hill as everybody trips over each other. This is the first time we've had all 28 cars on the field, on the racetrack, and I tell you what, now it's for real.
Absolutely. Burton there, absolutely pulling a bit of a gap. Tenley right behind him. Justin McClintock lifting up a wheel there, taking all the curb. There it is, Burton locking up that wheel again. I really think that's going to cost him big time. Tenley there just didn't get a good clean start, and this is a long race. This is 23 laps. This is going to take a lot of effort to bring the car home in one piece.
Yep, you've got to just manage your pace in these early stages. Make sure that you get through to that final few laps. There's probably going to be a safety car. We see them fairly regularly in the finals, just with so many cars. Look at them all streaming past here. You've got the Lamores, Thompson, Swan at the back. They're putting on a great race as well.
Yeah, look, we saw Ryan Jack. They're already up, probably made about 10 or 12 spots already on the first lap, so he's one to watch. They've had a lot of things go wrong with that car this weekend, but they've been sorting it out. Like I said earlier, it's a car that's only done, this is its first race meeting, and they've been working all weekend. And they've actually got the car handling pretty well and going really well. They had fuel delivery issue problems early on in the day, and that's why it didn't finish one of the heats.
Tenley looking very racy here on the second lap. He's taken the inside line away from Burton, and there you go, change for the lead. Burton's going to try to switch back. Jowett with the watching brief in behind the 2 Civics, and somebody getting the meatball flag early on. I think that is Phillips, isn't it? Or Walden getting the black meatball flag for a bit of a fuel issue.
Yeah, I think he's leaking fuel out the fuel tank there, which is a real shame. He'll have to come in and try and sort that problem out, but no doubt about who's leading this race at the moment, Andrew Tenley, and he's pulling away.
He wanted to do this all weekend. It's been his goal. We've spoken about it a few times. It's going to be up to Bob Jowett now. He's got Burton in his way. You'd have to say that Burton actually doesn't look as quick as he has looked all weekend in these early stages. You set the car up differently for a 23-lap race than you do for a 9-lap sprint race. So we've got to watch how these cars change and develop throughout this race. It's going to be an interesting one.
Absolutely. It's 32 degrees outside. The track temperature over 48 degrees. So the tyre pressures that you put in your car at the start of the race will not be the same at the end of the race. I can assure you of that. These AO50s will be struggling to hang in there for the full 23 laps. It's very hot, very difficult conditions out there, and very hot for the drivers inside. Extremely hot inside. It's both a test for both driver and machine here, Daniel.
Yeah, going down into the final corner, having a look throughout the field, and we've got Hansen on the inside of Wildridge. These guys locking a few brakes, so not really listening to Gary Manel telling them about how you should look after your tyres into the race. Wildridge was not done with there, forced the car back through the gap. Jeff Hansen's been swamped on the run down the straight. What a brilliant battle from these Escorts and the Datsun.
Yeah, great to see good close racing there. These guys, like you said earlier, they've been racing all year. Great rivalry between them, and it's good to see. Look at this, up the inside, absolutely. He's got it too, up the inside as he goes into the top of the track there. Waldridge in front of Hyde.
Hansen has managed to get his way through. What a great move. Price is sitting in behind there in the Vantage Automotive car thinking, I could probably get through on this battle, I'd say, because I tell you what, the more they push each other over, the more likely they are to fall off the track.
Harmston there going in front of Simon O'Dell, but Simon O'Dell up the inside, out breaks Peter into the final corner, takes that spot back.
That
Great
was
guys.
A really good move from O'Dell. He got to the inside, applied the brakes at the right moment. You saw that the car didn't move at all. Harmston now is going under pressure from Bohm. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah. Simon O'Dell, the RX-7, has got the big brakes on it that when he was running the 13B Bridgeport, as we see Graham Baum up the inside of Pete Harmston. Pete's not having a good race here, but hey, like I said, he may have a bit of a strategy. Long way to go.
As Phillips is in behind Fear as we come down the hill for about the fifth time, sorry. And I tell you what, Phillips is starting to make ground on Fear. Fear has sort of lost contact with those front runners a bit. It's not something we expect to see because that car has looked pretty strong all weekend. I dare say the heat, as we've spoken about earlier, is starting to get to a few of these cars, and they're already in nursing mode. We know a few of them going out there. We're just looking at it and thinking, how do I get to the finish line, let alone stay in touch with the leaders and make sure that I'm there at the end.
Okay, so we're 5 laps into this race, so pressures will be up, tyre pressures should be where they want them, and temperatures under the bonnet will be pretty hot, and temperatures in the car will be pretty hot as well. And I tell you, everyone's working really hard. As we see, Bob Jowett, in-car footage there, absolutely doing everything he can to try and get in front of Burton, because he thinks the only way to win this race is to be at the front. And at the moment, he's sitting in third, and he doesn't want to stay there.
Burton's car is not quite there at the moment in this race. We're seeing it lock up the rears again down into the fishhook. They're slowly losing the gap to Tenley, and Tenley is just getting away a little bit each lap. Jowett can see it happening. He's going to be forced into making a move here soon, but he doesn't quite have the pace off the corners to get close enough to Burton for a run into something major.
Here we see Phillips all over the back of Jeff Fair in the Nissan Pulsar. This Nissan Pulsar, this is only the second race meeting for Jeff in that car. He's doing really well, and Simon Phillips, this will be interesting. Turbocharged power against normally aspirated power. Ben Algie there, trying to keep in touch with these guys. You don't want to get too much of a gap on the front pack, otherwise you've got a lot of work to do.
These guys are already making it difficult for themselves. The more they battle, you saw there, Fear locked the front brake as well coming into turn 2, so he's definitely feeling the pressure from Phillips. You can see McClintock up the road. He is in 5th place, and those guys are now losing ground to him as they continue this battle. Ben Algie is going to be all over the back of them soon.
Yeah, that's right. This is fantastic. Battles going on everywhere. Absolutely. Jeff working hard. Actually pulled a little bit of a gap there on Simon Phillips as they head down the hill into the fishhook. Let's see if he can get the brakes bit. Yeah, no lock up there. So he's maybe he's adjusted his brake bias inside the car there a little bit just to try and balance it out. As we see just in the corner there, we've got a car off to the side. I think that's one of the Honda Civics, I think.
No, that's Thompson in the Mirage. Actually, the DTMF car has pulled
that's
off.
That's a real
so
shame for Thompson.
Yeah, he's had massive issues, and unfortunately, though, that car looks like it might be stranded in a little bit of a dangerous location. As we see Jagger now look to the inside of Harris, not quite there to make the move yet, and the other Harris is all over the back of Harmston. So there's battles all the way through this field, and it's going to be on towards the end as these cars continue to change and develop throughout this race.
Now, it'll be interesting. Will we see a safety car? Because if a safety car comes out, the field's going to bunch up. It'll start all over again because anyone can win the race on a restart. They'll have a lot of laps to do. Let's see what happens, because that car sitting on the side of the track, I think they're going to have to bring out a safety car for it sooner or later. They won't leave it there. It's just too dangerous.
It's sitting way too close to the edge of the track on a critical moment where you have to tip the car in. We've seen cars go too wide through that section, and it will be disastrous if someone gets it wrong. The thing to also remember if we have a safety car is cars change under the safety car. What someone has as a good car as Harris makes the move down the inside of Harmston. They're going to run too wide. Here's exactly what we're talking about. You can see Thompson there on the outside. There you go. He's just way too close to the track. If they had tried to run too wide through there, it could have ended in disaster.
Yeah, that's right. They've got to bring out the safety car here, Daniel. I just think this is too dangerous. I think Thomas is still sitting in his car. If someone has a moment going on to that through that corner there, as we see, yep, look, here it is.
There you go.
Safety car's out.
Now, the thing to remember as well is that under the safety car, as I said before, your car can change. The heat absorbs through it, tyre pressures change, the stability can change. So it's going to be interesting to see what will happen after the safety car goes back in. So we'll see what happens with that on the other side of the break on Blendline TV. Welcome back to Blendline TV, where we are coming out from the safety car break. These guys with a short run to the flag now, and McClintock diving into pit lane. There's obviously problems with that car.
Yeah, that'll be unfortunate for Justin as we see Tenley take the green flag. They've got 13 laps to go still, so this is anyone's race here at this stage.
And if you're wondering why those top four have got away and there's a huge gap behind them, it wasn't anybody else falling asleep. Michael Hopp was in the middle of the pack, and unfortunately, under the rules, you cannot pass anybody until you get to the control line. So Jeff Fear there really hindered. Hopp did his best to get out of the way as quick as possible, but of course, he doesn't have the power of these guys in front, so that's handed them a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card.
And poor old Hopp is just right in amongst it here, trying the best to keep out of his way.
Oh, what a forceful move from Harris. He just pushed it down the inside of Harmston there through the kink down the hill. I tell you what, he's not taking any prisoners on his march forward.
Obviously, he wants to be a little bit further up the field than where he is now, obviously.
What great racing from these guys. Harmston now coming under pressure from the other Harris. The man who it has really helped this safety car is Jagger. It's got him in touch with a few of the guys he should have been with if he didn't have those issues. So it goes to show that points are not always everything to get through to the final into a good position.
He's still got a long way to go, but as we see him come up alongside, that's put Pete Homestead back up alongside Harris in the Suzuki and pulls in front of him. This will be interesting. Under brakes, obviously the Suzuki's just so much better under brakes. Once again, pulls up alongside him. This will be interesting. Side by side.
He has a little bit of a look at him.
Yeah, I'm still here, mate.
Tried the outside at 3, doesn't make it stick. Pete Harmston has done well there to cover that gap off, though Harris is going to use all the track, the curb a bit more to try to get past. He is putting that Suzuki anywhere he can to get past the in-tune car.
You won't win it on the first lap, as we see Wooldridge and Hyde still at it. Who's going to win out of those two? Anyone can win.
They're not going to win the race outright, but I tell you what, it's bragging points back down in the garages after this one that they're going for. These guys, of course, pitting right near each other, so you can guarantee they're going to go have a handshake after this one. Wildridge leads onto the straight for this time, but Hyde is looking pretty racy. He'll probably try to make a move soon.
Yeah, as we see, that's Cox and Jowett coming up behind these two. So these guys have got to not only have a race between themselves, they've got to considered that they're going to be overtaken by this third and fourth. They don't want to impede on their race, so they're going to have to get out of the way, because I think it's getting very close to the end of the race here. Anyone could win.
I tell you what, the last thing going through Hyde and Wildridge's minds right now will be about getting out of the way of anybody. There's no way they want to give up position, and that's the thing that Cox is going to have to watch out for, because the blue flags will be there, as they are in motorsport, but it's up to the guy overtaking to get past safely.
You see Waldridge from the in-car footage from Hyde, Waldridge's Escort, typical Escort, seeing the front wheel high off the ground as they go through the corners. Now look at this, Graham Cox right behind the Escorts now, and he's got to be careful that Bob Jowett doesn't get a free ride through and pass. But down the straight, look, I think they'll both go flying past and do it cleanly.
Yeah, they go flying past onto the last lap of the weekend. This is it for the 2014 Improved Production Nationals Under 2 Litre Championship. We've got Tenley in the lead. Hyde makes a move down the inside of Wildridge. He's not going to get there though. Wildridge throws it wide, so maybe he will. But here's the man of the moment, Andrew Tenley. He has been unstoppable this weekend, has driven brilliantly, made sure the car has been there all weekend. He's looked smooth and consistent, and I'll tell you what, a deserving winner of the national title.
Absolutely. Burton tried his hardest, but look, the gap's too big. Obviously, this is the last lap. He's not going to do anything silly now. He just wants to bring the car home. But full points to Andrew Tenley from the ACT. Fantastic drive. Great to see him. He's done really, we've seen one mistake from him, and it was just a simple little mistake. Other than that, he has driven faultlessly. As we see the checkered flag for the 2014 national winner, Andrew Tenley.
He is the national champion for this year. He gets the #1 on the door for another year. The racing has not finished out on the track though, as Bohm continues to have a look at the rear of Algie down into the fishhook. Evans is starting to fall into their clutches as well, and you can just see behind Harris, Jagger and Harmston are in the middle of a battle. Here they come around the fishhook as well. Harris and Harmston side by side through the final kink. Let's see what happens here. Too wide. They didn't touch. What great racing from the two of them.
They've been battling all race. It's amazing. And here, it's not over yet. Look at this. Up the inside.
That's Harris, a massive failure.
Yeah, Harris off. I'd say he's got a puncher. Or something's broken there in the right front. That's a real shame on the last lap. It's a real shame for William Harris not to finish. But no doubt about it, we've had a great race here this weekend. Okay, so let's recap on the positions there. Tenley taking out the trophy for first place. Daniel Burton second. Graham Coxon third. Bob Jowett fourth. Simon O'Dell, great drive from Simon O'Dell from Queensland in the RX-7 to come home in fifth. Then we've got Simon Phillips, Chris Evans, Ben Algie, Graham Baum, Ryan Jagger. Great drive to come in 10th spot. Then we've got Pete Harmston, Jeff Hanston, Graham Heath, Dave Noble, Craig Waldridge, Mark Hyde, Mark Lamore, Ralph Swan, and rounding out 19th spot is Michael Hope and the Little Starlet. Fantastic.
Let's head down to the trophy presentation with Gary O'Brien.
We're going to start with the unders, and in 0 to 1600cc, second went to Michael Hopp, and real good results. Good, handy to stick in there. I guess when that restart was happening, you could have probably gone to the pits or pulled out of it to let him go, but we were commentating at the time that you're up for a class placing. Why would you pull out of it?
Yeah, that's right. And look, I mean, all the guys know about having to drive around slower cars as well, so you've got to give the respect. And I pulled over and just stayed on the outside all the way through to turn 2 and came up and let everyone pass me. So hopefully I didn't hold anyone too much up. But yeah, that's what you do. So no, it was great. Thank you.
Okay, we come to our winner in 0 to 1600ccs, Mark Lamore. Well, I followed your career a bit, reported a few of your races over the year, and it's always been in the Dolomite, but obviously the change has helped.
Well, we had to change over. We had to go to something a bit more modern, and the Mirage has given me that. Unfortunately, it's also given me as much grief as what the Dolomite has in some ways, but had a bit of a tough year through the state championship, but it's good to come and win this one. It's been very pleasing. My family will be very excited about it, particularly my youngest son, who made the effort to come here today. We'd like to thank all our sponsors and all the other competitors. I mean, without Yokohama, Newline and Vantage Automotive, this would not have happened today, and without all the people coming from interstate to join us here, it certainly wouldn't have happened. So thank you to everyone else. Thank you.
Right, thanks for that, Mark. We come to the 1600 to 2 litre class. Third went to Graham Cox in a Honda Integra.
Look, I've had a few speeches this weekend, but I want to thank everyone who was involved in this weekend. It was a big job, not realising how big it was. Thank you. And we had a car that was always quick. We couldn't put the power on the ground. The son started pulling it apart about 3 months ago, and I've got to thank him for the work and the speed we've got out of that car this weekend, and a terrific effort to him.
Well done to you. Okay, so second in 1600 to 2 litre, and more importantly, second outright went to Daniel Burton.
I've always been pretty good at launching the car and hill climbs and stuff like that, so I was fairly confident I'd get a good start, providing that he was on the outside as well. So I knew Tenley would get me eventually, but he's got some pace behind that car. But yeah, thanks to him, he was a good clean racer as well, and thanks to the other competitors as well.
Right, thank you very much. And now we come to our winner, the Nationals under 2 litre champion for 2014, and the winner of the 1600 to 2 litre class, Andrew Tenley. Now every one of yours starts from pole. You were second at the first corner. What happened after that?
Well, the inside line just wasn't that great for traction, so yeah, that's all I could do with it. And then I just had the pace down the back and managed to use that a few times to overtake the cars in front.
Bit concerned when Daniel got that lap record. Was that a worry for you coming into the final?
No, not really. Just focus on my own pace and see how that went.
He certainly had it, and obviously, how's it feel to be the 2014 Nationals champion for 2 litre cars, and the first that we're going to have that's been recognised solely in a separate race?
No, it's really good to get that reward for all the hard work in building the car and the support along the way. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for on this episode of Blendline TV. Congratulations to our top 3 under 2 litre drivers for this improved production nationals at Wakefield Park. Remember, if you want to see more action and some behind the scenes videos, you can pick up the DVD from the Improved Productions National Committee. Make sure you head over to their website to order that one. Until next time, I'm Daniel Beckinsale. Joining me in commentary was Gary Manell. We look forward to your company next time.